Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been Summer Means Fun. Summer Means Fun by Bruce and Terry. And it's 2-1. That was playing when Brandon and Steve are driving to Malibu, which I'm sure you didn't see. I am Jeff. Cousin Leslie, are you tense?
Oh my God.
And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I vowed not to fall apart tonight.
Good job. That's a good vow to have.
Some of these lines, I'm just like, as the youth say, it me.
You felt represented in this episode?
I did. Here's the thing. Brenda is so much more put together than I ever was. I was always I was okay with being sentimental, you know. People hadn't made fun of me a ton for it yet.
Well, there you go. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are watching and talking about season 4, motherfuckers! Episode 1, So Long, Farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, Goodbye. It's the season premiere of season 4, everybody, and this aired originally September 8th, 1993. I am officially a senior in high school now. Watch out!
I'm not even in school yet.
No, because you're a baby. You didn't
trying
even
to
know
get
what
by.
it was.
I was thinking I was probably trying to get by doing the least.
Well, there you go. I mean, at this point, at least not shitting yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Like, thumbs up. You know, you're probably learning to tie your shoes and shit. You know, maybe not. Maybe not yet.
Maybe. I thought that too. I was like, why would I do that when I have...
Okay. I was literally just going to say, I bet you were a Velcro kid.
I wanted to be a Velcro, light up shoe kid, and my parents were like, no, you're going to be self-sufficient and you're going to learn how to tie your shoes. And you know what? It's probably for the best.
Oh, they're correct. You should learn how to tie your shoes. I didn't have that option. Velcro came around when I was like 10. Like, I remember the first time being able to buy Velcro shoes. And my reaction to it was, well, these are lazy. Like, 10-year-old me.
I just realized too, another reason yeah, that's smart. You were ahead of, listen, you already knew what was up and where we were headed. I realized something that I definitely would have been doing by now. I would have been in dance lessons. And you definitely had to know how to tie your shoes because of not ballet, but tap shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So go with me.
Yeah. Nice job. Way to learn to tie your shoes while Brenda's getting ready to go to college and shit. So we're back. We're back from a summer. We didn't have, okay, here's where to start, I think. No summer episodes this year.
No.
And I felt it. I felt the lack of summer episodes in this season premiere. Because, let's just jump into what this episode's really about. I think what this episode is really about is what we missed on their summer vacations.
Yeah.
Because there were so many, like, they had to do a whole lot of catch up. You know, like, we're left at the end of season 3 and, you know, they're under the tree and Brenda's going to Minnesota and Andrea's going to Yale and Dylan and Kelly are going to Europe for a trip. And, you know, Kelly and David are being forced to move out because they sold the house. Like, all this stuff, like, they set up a lot of problems they were going to have to solve, you know, when they're not problems, but they're just like, we've given ourselves a place to start from. And so then they have to go and write season 4 and go, now what do we want to do? And how do we undo things that we might have said there? Or how do we take those things and get to where we want to be to start this season? And that largely means people walking into rooms and saying things about their current predicament in life. Like David walks into rooms and is like, I have no place to live. And,
I had such a hard time taking that seriously because I could not fathom why Jackie wouldn't just find a place that they all can live in. Um,
right.
like I know she has less cash flow, but there is a balance between that mansion she lived in and just a regular old house.
True.
Like
I mean,
Kelly and
yeah.
Aaron could have easily shared a room.
Yeah. But here's where that's not gonna work. Like, one, they're in college, so from a TV perspective, you want them out of the house as much as you can. You want to get them out and independent because it lets you just do more stuff. Also, in kayfabe, they're college kids. Most of them aren't going to be living at home. You know,
Fair.
even if you're local, you may not live at home.
Okay, so then are they all going to get jobs because, or are they going to acknowledge that their parents are footing the bill? Because I can't quite decide. To address what you say this episode is about, I can already tell there's going to be a weird balance of, well, in college, you have to be an adult, so these are adult things. But then also, it's college, and you get to play around and fuck around within a safety net for the last time.
Mm-hmm. I 100%. So the you asked a question right before you said that, and I lost the question. It skipped
Are
away.
they going to have to get jobs?
Oh, got it. So I think we saw that the one person who has a job no longer has a job.
Did not get that. I don't know why Nat. I was trying to wrap my head around this because I thought,
Mm-hmm.
why would it be okay to have a high school student working on top of schoolwork? Why, and yet when it's like, oh, well, now you get into college, so you get to play. I don't understand that. And it's, again, it makes me sound like more of a square than I was, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I went to college to work. I was like, okay, I have to go. I'm going to do it. Um, and like I would get jobs in the summertime. So I don't really understand where Nat is coming from thinking, "Oh, you're in school now. You should enjoy life." He was in high school.
Yeah, I don't. I this is a writer's room decision. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like in kayfabe there's any reason for Brandon to no longer be working at the beach pit. Like, but but if you want to put your characters in a new surrounding, in new circumstances, um, bumping into new people, doing different things, then you need to remove them from their comfort zones a little bit. You got to shake it up. And we're like, so we're shaking people up, you know, like Kelly and Donna and David, they all got to find new places to live. Andrea's got to, everyone has to find a place. No one knows where they're living in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whenever college starts. I mean, Brenda just left. So college it's got to be starting like next week, right? Like just timeline wise. They're giving themselves a couple weeks to kill the summer at this beach house. Um, oh, so that's okay. God damn. I'm all over the place this episode because it doesn't feel like this episode is all set up, no payoff.
Well, that's exactly what I was just about to say. It felt like so much coming in, saying what I just did, and then exposition.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, David comes in and is like, I don't have a place to live. Would you like to live with me? Can you live with me? Who wants to live with me? And like, it's basically nobody until Kelly's like, this seems better than the dorms.
Which,
And
right,
yeah,
correct.
I mean, and wait till you see the beach apartment. Like, beach apartment's awesome.
Can't
Um,
wait.
I love the beach apartment. And it still looks exactly the same. Like,
They gave him just a small enough earring. I'm sorry. I know you mentioned the apartment, but I'm still stuck
yeah,
on how I'm going to be stuck a lot on how people look at the
okay.
beginning of new seasons. Because again, this one, again, you want to talk about what this episode's about. When you're older, when you're now in college, we get to show more skin.
Oh, well, there's that. Sure.
Like
Yeah.
David,
I
not
mean,
so
and
much, but like
yeah,
that earring was borderline pirate earring.
it's true. I mean, and Brandon's got his little wife beater on, and Steve's walking around with like muscle shirt guy shirt. Um,
Shirt
and girls are like,
open.
yeah, girls are sunbathing topless, which is thumbs up, no notes. Um, I'm all for Robbie Lamort being topless. Love it. Um, love it. Um, but like they had to do a lot of catching up with us this. So
Yeah.
they, Steve has keys to someone's beach house up in Malibu, some big shot producer who wants Samantha Sanders to be in his new sitcom. And so he gets to house sit. Brenda's going away to college. She's going to Minnesota in a couple of days. So they're going to have her going away party at this place, this guy's beach house. And nothing happens at the party. Like, oftentimes when you have a party, it's like a chaos factory, like lots of drunkenness or like drama occurs. A couple things got broken. Whatever. All the drama happens after the party, but the party is the excuse to get everybody back in the same room except for Dylan because he's in Europe still. And telling us what they did over the summer. So like I would have rather seen what they did over the summer. Like I feel robbed that we didn't get to watch Brenda working for Henry.
Right. I just miss
I feel robbed.
Henry
Yeah, I feel robbed that we didn't get Henry. Where's more Henry? You
on the
know?
X-Files.
That's true. There I don't know when it happened, but the actual beach club that was the beach club got like destroyed at some point in the mid 90s. Like it's not there anymore. I went to that location. It's just beach. Um
Well, wasn't there a big earthquake that happened out there around that
it,
time?
I feel like it was more of I mean, Southern California is liable to have any kind of thing cause the problem. Like it could have
Yeah.
been an earthquake, it could have been fires, it could have been mudslides, it could have been, just torrential rains or whatever that, blew the place. I don't remember what it was. But at some point in the mid 90s, it was gone. I don't think they lost that set this early, but if they had, then I could see why you don't want to go and spend a lot of time there. But I miss Henry, and I would have liked to have seen Brenda and Andrea, and I don't think Donna was Donna working. I couldn't tell who Brandon was talking to.
Well, Andrea still worked there with the kids.
Right, that's Brandon. With like the three of them walked up together, and Brandon's like, "Did you miss the was it hard saying goodbye to the campers?"
Yeah.
And it was clear that more than one of them was working with the campers, and I couldn't tell if it was two of them or three of them.
Got it. I couldn't tell
So
you.
yeah, so but that would have been fun. I would have liked to have seen that. Apparently, also Steve just got off the wait list. I would have enjoyed watching Steve's pity party the whole summer. Like just watching him feel bad about himself would have been fun for me. I think I would have liked that.
Absolutely.
Uh, I would have liked to have seen uh, Kelly and Dylan break up on camera.
Yeah.
Why you do that off camera, and you don't even give a flashback of it in this episode. It's just like it's tell don't show, and that's irritating. I would have rather seen it.
I mean, I don't think it's done.
No, I'm not going to say one way or the other, but having them break up off camera is a choice.
But also, didn't I say something? I feel like I might have somewhat predicted like they're just going to fall apart over the summer. Like they're going to come back from summer break and be done somehow.
Yeah. You might have. I don't remember.
I don't
That
either.
was too recent, and I haven't gone back and edited the episode, so it's not fresh in my. It's like it's too recent to be fresh in my memory.
Got it.
How weird is that? It's not normally the way it works. And Andrea spent the whole summer debating whether she was going to go to Yale or not, and finally deciding to go to California University. That would have been an interesting struggle to watch. I would have liked to have seen that. Instead, what we get, much to your joy, is Gil being a fucking asshole. Like, look, no Gil's defense here. Gil, dick move. Like, Andrea, apparently Gil lives in Malibu on a teacher's salary, and Andrea thinks he has a chef. So there's something. When in reality he has a fiance, which seems even, I don't know if that's more likely
Less
than him
plausible.
having a chef. Yeah, it could go either way. But he lives near this. I thought you couldn't live in Malibu without a SAG card, Steve. Which is what he tells Celeste about Malibu. And I just want you to pin this in your memory. This is the first of 2 season premieres where Steve tells a SAG card joke.
Okay.
Oh no. Yeah. Next season premiere, SAG card joke as well. I don't know. I didn't remember this one. The other one I remembered.
Isn't trying to be a professional actor funny? Isn't that so funny?
It's hilarious. I mean, Rob Reiner lives right here. So does Bruce Willis. And you know who else lives right here? Fucking Gil. Like, Gil lives on the beach with a lot of plants, doing a little watering. Like, and Andrea just walks over there and tells Gil she's not going to Yale. And he's like, well, I guess you have a lot of reasons. Some of them are probably valid.
He was negging her so hard this episode.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I had a really tough time watching it. One, Walter, the first time we watched it, pointed out, hey, Gil Myers is back. And I was like, fuck.
Did he see his name in the credits and notice?
Yeah.
Is that how you knew Tony Miller was in the episode too?
No, I saw him. I mean, he pops up.
Right, but I mean his name's in the credits, so I think if you had seen if you saw Michael Cudlitz in the credits and go, it's a Tony Miller episode.
No, I sadly have not. I mean, now I have his name in my brain, but when I was watching it, did not have his name memorized like I do.
Got it.
Mark
Yeah.
Gil Myers. Anyway, but like as I'm watching it too, I'm thinking, this is technically okay now, even though I still don't feel okay about it because like. Now it's just making me sad. I'm like, Andrea, what are you doing? Like,
right.
You're chasing another Chris Suitor, some older male who may or may not have like latched onto you in a way, you know, and like it's just weird. It's so weird. But again, they're adults now, or she's an adult, so it's like, and he's somehow engaged.
You've never met my fiance, really?
No, Gil.
None of us have.
No, remember, none of us are allowed to be alone with you anymore. Or we weren't allowed to be alone with you anymore. Yeah,
Brandon came over to your house and you never said, oh, that's my fiance's shit right there, or whatever. Speaking of women's shit that is in weird places, did you notice that Steve took a bra out of his pants?
Yeah. There were 2 different times where people were like, throwing around thongs, and I'm like, Jesus, what happened at this party?
A lot, apparently, that we didn't get to see because why show us the fun stuff? So they have this going away party, and everybody gets a moment with Brenda, and then Brenda goes to Minnesota with Cindy, and you know Brandon's giving her shit. He's going to put a pool table in her room, or maybe a jacuzzi, and you know he's gonna make it a suite up there in Casa Walsh. And so Brenda goes to Minnesota and everybody else stays back in LA. David goes looking for a house with Donna and Kelly just for their help. And they find a really apparently affordable 3-bedroom, literally right on the beach in Hermosa Beach. They don't say that, but that's where it is. And they're like, we should all live there. And Donna's like, cool. I need permission because I'm sure my parents are gonna have to pay my share of the rent. Like that's how this works in college. Your parents pretty much still pay for your room and board, and not for everybody, I suppose, but you know,
I would say,
it,
if you're
it's,
lucky.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's a normal enough occurrence to just assume that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Um, and Kelly's just not feeling the dorms, and so they're like, okay, and then Donna's like, well, Felice and Dr. John Martin are going to Houston to live, and but they're cool with me living with Kelly on the beach in a 2-bedroom. I didn't mention David. It's funny it never came up. So that's the storyline.
I thought Felice wasn't born yesterday.
You're born at night, but not last night, baby. And so they're out house shopping or whatever. But back at the Malibu place, Steve and Celeste are fucking adorable. Like I just like until Jill, is her name Jill?
I think so. Yeah,
Robbie
Jill.
Lamore. And until Jill shows up, I'm like, wow, Steve and Celeste, I love this relationship.
Yeah.
Like they seem really good together. Like she thinks he's funny. He's attentive. They're holding hands. They're clearly into each other. Like it's a really nice relationship they've got going. And then Jill shows up and Steve's like, I really like Celeste. But what if for like a week I just fucked her? Like, what if I just did that? And Brandon's like, counterpoint, maybe don't. And
Yeah.
Jill says, counterpoint, can I fuck Brandon?
Can I be with the guy who called me psycho? I love it when guys talk shit about me to my face when I had an absolutely normal reaction to a strange man being in my house.
Uh-huh. So that's the other thing. Skipped it. Jill, whose dad owns the house that they're in, comes home from living in New York the next day to surprise her dad, finds the place in fucking ruins, and a strange man with a very tight and high haircut situation happening, walking around with a toaster oven. And she's like, Mace, she's ready to spray him down. And Brandon, here's the thing about this situation. They're both right to be freaked out. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Brandon's just trying to clean up after this party, and suddenly there's a woman with like mace in his face. And to him, that must feel quite psychotic. To her, clearly her house is being robbed. Like, so they're having is it a meet cute or is it a meet crazy? I don't know.
It's a
But they
meat
meet.
crazy, but I just don't understand why, like, what world is Brandon living in? Brandon, who is always wanting to help others and solve or, prevent injustice from happening, to
Mhm.
stop
Sure.
injustice from happening. And this is another thing I don't know if this episode is about it, but just I can't help but noticing Brandon gets meaner with each season. So, like, is Beverly Hills turning him into an asshole?
Well, I mean, remember the pilot when we were like, "Oh, never mind, the Midwesterners brought the asshole with them." Like all the shit that happens in the pilot is kind of their fault. So, maybe he was always a problem. I mean, but I
Maybe.
agree. I don't know if he gets meaner. Like, what makes you think he gets meaner specifically in this episode?
Specifically him calling her a psycho. Like you
Okay.
know women who have been abused and attacked. And
Right.
like it just seemed to come out of left field how harsh he was
Mm.
being to this woman. And you're right. It would be alarming for him too to suddenly have mace in his face. But it's like, buddy, you clearly have been going to the gym this season. I know you're a short king, but you're still a man. And I'm still a woman who's a backup dancer. And yeah, I can jump like crazy out of nowhere and look fierce doing it, but I probably don't feel like I can do more than spray you. So
Right.
I just it I don't even know how to explain it without going on a longer rant. It just feels like Brandon is being not even naive. Naive is nice. He should he should know better. He should know better.
Yeah. No, I get that. I don't
Oh,
like.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Also, the line saying, "Are you related to Emily Valentine?" Fuck you. How
Right.
dare you?
Right. Yeah. Um, it is an interesting choice because, like, as far as we know, Brandon is cool with Emily. Like, the
He's
last time we
cool.
saw Emily
He's
was
cool
he
with
was
those
visiting.
struggling.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But like I don't know that he views her negatively. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
there. I feel like maybe there was a couple of references to her last year, like during senior year. I think they might have referenced her once or twice as being crazy or like unstable or something. Um, which clearly she was unstable when they were together. Like Emily had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Um, but like maybe that was some member berries. You know, are you familiar with member berries, the South Park thing?
I'm not.
Okay, it was this whole thing. This was probably 2016, where they were basically making fun of nostalgia, and there were these little like they were like blueberries, and the blueberries would go like, "Remember? Oh, remember Star Wars? Oh yeah, I remember. Ah, remember Star? Oh, remember Tauntauns? Like, so maybe this was like, remember Emily Valentine? Ooh, remember? I remember. You remember? And like, Steve has the key, and Brandon's like, remember Legacy Key? And he's like, yeah, I remember. Like, so remember those? Maybe those like little things are a little bit of member berries. Like, just remember the history of
Yeah,
this show.
and he would be valid in not having the fondest of memories with Emily, considering she did drug him. And,
Yes, she did.
she like I'm sure that's one of those relationships he looks back on and is like, huh, that was a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
She could have done something bad to me or my family. But at the
Yeah,
same
almost burned down my
time,
house and stole my twins shirt.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
God, God forbid. So, but all that to say, it still seems really harsh for him to come out and call another woman psycho and compare her to this other woman who did have legit problems.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And you don't know this woman with the mace, although again, she's being slightly aggressive to you, but you don't know that you're in her house. So she's justified in her reaction to you. You just don't know it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like I guess where I was bumping was that I'm not sure mean is the word that I would use for Brandon.
I'm not sure either. That was the
Like,
easiest. The other word I was
yeah,
thinking of is he becomes less sensitive, like more insensitive.
I was thinking more aggressive, but yeah, there's a lack of sensitivity. Um, I don't know, like
He's becoming more of
I
a
don't know
Chad.
what is a Chad
Ugh,
other than
it's,
like every person I know named Chad has been kind of an asshole. Not everyone. There's one. I can think of
I
one
mean,
decent Chad.
that's the best description, like a dude's dude, a dude
Okay.
bro. There's
Mm,
it's one of those
oh,
slang
he's
terms that
definitely
I
that.
yeah, and it's unbecoming.
Yeah, I feel you. Um, but like once he and Jill get over the hump, um, and you know, oh God, and then Steve is just super flirty with Jill and making Celeste justifiably pissed off. And to the point where Celeste is like, "Look, don't you blaspheme in this house. These bagels are delicious." Like
I bet they're not.
Celeste is, I bet they're not too. I think for all of Jill's faults, and right now I don't know that there are any because I love her. Um, she's right about the bagels. Like these bagels are probably substandard based on what you're used to having, Jill, and I get it. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry I said anything. Please go back to sunbathing topless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so I don't know. We've just meandered a lot this episode, but we also find out through, and we mentioned this briefly, that Kelly and Dylan broke up while in Europe. She's come home. He's still there. Um, and then Brenda in Minnesota is not feeling it.
Yeah.
Like she's there, and cousin Lindsay is just like, hey cousin Brenda, did you go to the Hard Rock Cafe? Hey cousin Brenda, what about Toontown? Hey cousin Brenda, did you make out with Tom Cruise's butthole or whatever? Like she's just fucking everywhere. Like everybody wants to talk, and it's not just cousin Lindsay. It's the girls she went to high school with. It's Darla. It's everybody but her grandma, because her grandma just wants to doomsay grandma is like, and Cynthia's like, Mom, can you shut the fuck up on making Brenda think it's gonna suck here? And she's like, I don't know, maybe this is the worst mosquito year on record.
It the Minnesota bits were a lot. And like
Yeah, they were.
how they wrote Brenda, it's like they're already trying really hard to one, I've never thought of Brenda as okay, she's had some rough times, but I don't think she's ever been a bitch. I think how she is willing to speak out about some things, people consider bitchy. And this episode, the way she's speaking to everyone, I'm like, you've definitely had the most therapy out of everyone else on the show who has been.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. It's so. How do you feel about the way Brenda handles all of that? Because what she's getting when she gets there is, and she calls it out. She's like, I can you please stop asking me questions about California? And like, I'm trying to start over. I'm trying to like have a little break from that life. And everybody just wants to ask her questions about where she's just been. And I get it from their standpoint. Like, Brenda is interesting because she is someone we know who's just had, to our minds, an extraordinary experience. She has lived a life that we can only imagine from television programs.
Mhm.
And so we're curious. And like, not for nothing, if she'd stayed another day, she could have met Rob Reiner. Like, all she had to do is walk up and down the beach. And who don't want to meet Rob Reiner?
I wonder
So go ahead.
I wonder if her in Minnesota is once again the actors addressing the audience being like, I promise we're just like you. Like, yes, our lives are different and we're on TV, but like the things you all bombard us with is aggressive. Like,
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But how do you feel about the way Brenda responded to these things, which was direct and to the point?
I mean, as someone who also likes to be direct and to the point and a little sassy at times to the point of bitchery, I'm fine with it because
Mm-hmm.
but at the I don't know. I had a harder time believing her floor mates were this aggressively interested in her life in Beverly Hills. I think people generally want to talk about themselves. Like, yes, we want to know about other people and their
Yeah.
exciting lives, especially in college when you are more likely to run into people from other areas, from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
I don't think they all would have been that excited by her.
I mean, the only reason that I think they might have been is because Darla tells Brenda, "Hey, these two girls that you know live on our floor." So I'm assuming that that's who these girls are. That they knew Brenda in middle school, and so like they're interested in what her life has been like since, since she left and went away and now she's come back. So if that's who they were, I understand.
Well then if these are old friends of hers or old acquaintances, then it's kind of harsh. Like for people that she's supposed to know or have had some history with, it seems pretty harsh. Like she's talking to these people like they're strangers.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the thing for me with her reaction is one, on the one hand, good job setting some boundaries, Brenda.
Yes.
Like, good job telling people. Can't believe I'm using this analogy, but it's not the first time I've used wrestling in this episode as an analogy for something. And since I used kayfabe earlier, there was this whole thing called Hulk Hogan was the biggest wrestler on the planet, and especially when he went to WCW. And he basically, well, he had full creative control. So people could say that this is what they want to do for the storyline. You're going to lose to this person tonight. And Hogan could come in day of the show, see the creative and go, that doesn't work for me, brother. And so like Brenda is looking at all these folks and she's like, that ain't going to work for me, brother. So, which is good. It's good if you can say that to people. The other side of it is if you're Brenda and you're looking to get a start at a new place with new people or just old people that you're meeting again for the first time, in a while. Don't you want to be open? Like, don't you want to, if you come off as that's not going to work for me, brother, you're putting a wall up on like the first day in a new place. You're making it hard on yourself to integrate there and feel a part. And I'm happy that Brenda decides to go to the party. Like, that's a good decision. Of course, we don't see the party because why show us the party? We'll build this dorm set. That's all we're going to do. So I don't know how much she's helping herself by making this her line.
Yeah. I think that's realistic though. Like, again, I'm with you on, I think Brenda's character was ahead of her time by being so good at setting boundaries and speaking out about some stuff. But I do think it's realistic to, you have this idea of college or whatever new thing you're going into. And when you get there, maybe you're feeling differently about it or it's going differently. And so you want to stick with whatever your rules are for yourself about it, your morals. And then maybe after some time talking to people or some experiences, then you realize, okay, this is different than I thought it was going to be. I can either leave it or I can roll with it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of realistic too, because you don't immediately change who you are going to college.
No, you don't. But like, I think it's a good idea to establish and communicate your boundaries. I wonder how smart these boundaries are for her, because it makes it harder for her to become a gopher.
Yeah.
Like if you're putting up this big block between you and everybody else, you're kind of always going to be Brenda, California. Instead of Brenda who lives down the hall.
And I was thinking how, I think the last thing I think for me this episode was about is that you're not just where you're from. Right. Like, yes, where you grow up, wherever you've been, that does feed into your personality. Like, so whether or not you like it, it's there. So you
Mhm.
again, you either accept it, you either accept it or and roll with it, or you don't, and then you have a very limited experience and like because you know she's gonna want to talk about it at some point. I'm sorry, Brenda. You know, like anyone, like a lot
Mhm.
of people, likes attention.
Yeah. So let me ask you about your freshman year college experience. Um, you went to IU.
I did.
Did you did you there you go. Um, did you live with someone you knew from high school? Or did you have a total stranger roommate?
It's interesting because the first semester I lived with a stranger, but she was from
Okay.
Corden. But
Okay.
then she left and transferred back home, and I knew someone. I kind of knew this person from back home who was transferring in, and I honestly forget how we found out about each other. But I was like, "Hey, I'm losing a roommate, and I would rather have someone I sort of know than another stranger because I don't think I can win at the stranger game more than once." So yeah,
Fair.
yes, I had a stranger, and no, I also didn't at some point. But again, I was working with or I was living with someone I had never really hung out with.
Okay. And then follow-up question. How much because like a lot of people from where we grew up go to IU. Not
Hmm.
everybody, obviously, but like there's a good chance when you go to a large state school that there's a good number of people from your high school who also went there. Um, so did you your freshman year, like especially first semester, because that's what we're talking about here, were you more connected to your high school people or were you more invested in like the new people you were meeting? Like where was your social energy going?
Um, I would say for the most part, I was very interested in meeting new people.
Okay.
Um, the people from my school and surrounding schools who went to IU, I wasn't super close with. And like the one guy friend that I would say probably hung out the most from back home, he got weird. So I was like, yeah, definitely sticking with new people. Um, and yeah, I mean, I joined choir, so that really helped because
Yeah.
I didn't make. I mean, I feel like college is when you first learn how difficult it is to make friends. Um, yeah. What about you?
So my freshman year I didn't go to Indiana.
That's
I
right.
went to University of Indianapolis, which is a much smaller school. Um, much smaller chance that I'm going to know anybody when I get there. I knew one person. She was a year ahead of me. She lived in my dorm. Shouts to Shannon McDaniel. She was awesome. We did theater and stuff together in high school, but we weren't
Aw.
like, I had like a group of friends, and she was really good friends with one person in my group of friends. But she wasn't like all the way in our group of people. So we didn't really hang out a lot, but she's great. She's a lovely person. Um, so I knew her, but so I was full on new people, and I was on the soccer team. So like I had that, but I could count on one hand the number of people I played soccer with in my life that I like as people. It just don't just did not get along with almost any of them. Uh, Shouts to Tony Vissing, who I know is a cheesemeister. Love you, Tony.
Hey,
Um,
Tony.
yep, Tony and I played soccer together in high school. Tony's great. He's one of the few. Um, but when I went, so I'm hanging out with guys who are wired different than me,
Yeah.
and I'm super fucking homesick. And I'm like suddenly in a long distance relationship that melts down in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
It comes back together, but it melts down. Um, and see, my freshman year shit is real complicated because Labor Day weekend, my best friend died.
oh.
So the whole year for me is a fucking mess. It's just, I'm an emotional basket case. Um, but I met some really, really good friends that are still really, really good friends 30 years later.
Yeah.
So, like, all of that is true. But I'm trying to, and I did not find it hard to find people to hang out with and do stuff with and get to know and whatever. All of that was pretty easy, but not all of those people were awesome. Like, like you
Yeah.
meet people because they're like, oh, I was talking to this guy down in the lobby. We're going to go do something. Oh, you're his roommate? Well, come with us. Or you live down the hall from him? Come with us. And then you end up hanging out with a guy who it turns out is just a virulent racist and is like, but you don't quite know that yet. And he's kind of brash and funny. And but then what you realize is like he's funny for 15 minutes once every 7 months or so.
Oh God.
Any more time than that, it's really too much. Um, so like you end up connecting and just all these different folks. And I feel like that part of it, that new friend part of it, is made harder if you are also old friend parting it at the same time. You know? Because like what you want to do is like, hey, new friend, you'd like my old friend. And they probably wouldn't. Like, they're just different people. Like, they don't know each other. Um, and if you're trying to like, force those two things together, like maybe you're killing Fun George. I don't know. Like, worlds are colliding, Jerry. And so it's this really odd balancing act you're trying to do when you're putting yourself wholeheartedly into a new social situation.
Yeah.
And so drawing that line for Brenda is probably good, but the aggressive way she's drawing it, I think, is making it harder for her to fully get in there. And I think that's hard. I think that's a rough way to start a new experience. You know?
Yeah, and like, girl, you're going into theater. Like, I can tell you right now, because as you were talking, I'm just thinking about, the one friend from home that I wish I had reconnected with. Because we became close friends in high school. She went to an academy, and then we ended up going to IU. And I'm like, why didn't I try to rebuild that? But I was like, oh, it's because you were so dead focused on theater. Um,
Sure.
And when you're spending all your time in one of three buildings, it does become very hard to meet people outside of it. So, like, Brenda, hold on to these friends that you have from another time in your life. But yeah, I mean, you're right too. Having friends, it's really hard to exist while making new friends and also holding on to old friendships on the same campus.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting, and not for nothing, but all the rest of the gang is going to have to deal with this in some capacity too when they literally just about all go to see you starting like next week or whenever they
Cal
go there.
Uni.
Cal Uni. I think that's awesome. You literally, I think you're the first person who's ever called it that.
Great. I'm starting a thing.
You totally are. I'm totally with you. Um, and they're going to meet new people, but they're mostly going to this group. I mean, they're the gang, and they're always going to be bumping into each other. But there will be new people that we meet. Um, but first, we got to get rid of some old people like Tony Miller, who once again just isn't going to get any. Sorry, Tony.
Why he ever thought, I'm sorry, Tony. You're a sweet guy, but you got some weird entitlement.
Well, here's what we don't know because we didn't see it. Were he and Brenda hanging out all summer?
You know,
I would have liked to seen that.
Tony Miller definitely reminds me of some guys now that I'm like, oh, you all also kind of acted entitled, but we did hang out like a few times. So maybe that's where he's coming from. They hung out and he was reading the situation one way and she's like keeping him at arm's length the whole time. Like, look, I'm sorry, Tony. I just like hanging out with you, but it's not going to be
Right.
more than that. I'm still getting over Dylan.
Right. Well, the same way that Jill is like, okay, Steve, Like, and Brandon's like, "Are we watching the same movie? Because I have not seen any of the signs that you're picking up on. Like, I think you're
Yeah.
making all of this up." And Steve is gonna be like, "I'm sticking with my girlfriend," and Jill's like, "Can I just stop you before you get into this? I kind of want to bone the guy with the funny haircut. Um,
The guy who
that's what I'm
called me
interested in."
psycho, that's what I'm
Yeah,
interested
I just maybe Jill has some like Dom energy, and she's
in.
like
Ooh.
had that mace, and I was ready. And if I could just get him to submit a little bit, oh, I would ride
See,
the shit out of him.
that's the story I want. And shame on you for getting my hopes up because I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, the one thing we know is that she's only going to be here a couple weeks, so we can't get too emotionally invested in Jill. They
Any
told us.
any adult film actors listening, one, welcome, bless you. Also, write this porno. I want to see Brandon get dominated.
Oh, that'd be. You don't even need adult film actors. All you need is AI now. Because if you
No,
can get, now listen, if you can get that creepy ass baby video that we just saw, like of the 90210 cast, which I fucking hate, that Uncanny Valley shit is just awful. I don't
sick.
need any of it. But go ahead and have AI do that porn for you.
No.
It's the new frontier. Weird ass fanfic AI porn.
I
I know. Here's what you say to that. You say, "That's not going to work for me, brother."
My reaction to that is Donna dropping calf brain from her mouth.
It's brains. Um. Oh, and then the last thing that happens in this episode is Brenda goes to the party and her phone rings when she right after she walks out the door, and it's Dillwig, and he's like, "I guess she's not there," and hangs up. Um, and then the episode ends. So no payoff to anything at all. We're just set up for next week's episode. We've reset things. Oh, Gil fucking negs Andrea, and Andrea goes back and yells at him the next day. But mid yell, like realizes that not that she was overreacting. I don't think. I think what's really happening there is she got it off her chest. Like, and once she got to scream at him the thing that she was so irritated about, she realized that his opinion doesn't actually matter that much. And now that I've told him to fuck off, I can just let go that anger and realize how silly it is that I'm giving him this much power.
Yeah.
And that's where she's like, and so there's like a full emotional release there for her, where it's like straight up anger, "You're a fucking asshole," followed by, "Why am I so mad at you? Like, you're just my high school like American lit teacher or whatever."
Journalism, too.
Yeah, newspaper class sponsor or whatever.
You're just the guy who tried
Plus,
to kill me.
that's true. Yeah, well, maybe maybe it wasn't Gil. Maybe it was his fiance. Maybe she was like, "I don't like how connected you are to this girl at your high school. I'm getting her out of the way."
Fuck.
Yeah, and maybe that's why Gil thought Andrea had met his girlfriend or his fiance, because he knows that his fiance tried to have Andrea murdered, and
He's fine with
he's
it.
like, "Look, if she tried to kill her, they must have at least met,
They made
but
eye
maybe not."
contact.
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe my fiance just knows me too well. Like maybe that's what that was.
I I cannot wait to meet this woman over an awkward luncheon and then also Andrea say too much and Gil have to break her heart while also enjoying having some young thing lust after him. You disgusting.
I know. I don't know. In Gil's defense, maybe he didn't try to kill Andrea.
I don't know.
I wanted to be able to say in Gil's defense one more time.
You know what? And like for the first time, I mean, because she's out of school, they're not doing anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Gil has that on the beach
As
in
someone
Malibu.
who had a crush on one of her high school teachers, I think by the time I graduated, if I had known where he was living and also if he was single, I would have been like, batting my eyes at
Yeah.
him or trying to be like, "Oh, what are you doing this summer?"
And he would have given you that dazed and confused head pat.
Yeah, he totally would
Yeah.
have because he was a
Yep.
decent human being.
Yeah, there you go. As far as you know. Um,
Fair point.
Yeah. Um, okay. So do you have anything else that this episode might really have been about? Because we wound our way through this one. This is what happens when the episode doesn't do anything but like clear the table and reset the board.
I kind of like that though, because man, we got to talk about a lot, and I don't mind when it's weaving in and out of
I don't
things.
either.
Cool.
I
No,
don't
I
either.
don't. I don't have anything else.
Okay. So what does this episode make you nostalgic for?
Oh gosh. I had one thing, but then I thought of something else as we were talking about it. I'm nostalgic for that summer going into college when I mean I could leave it at that, but specifically I'm going to hone in on um going into college, girls do one of two things. You either drastically cut your hair or you
Mm.
get a nose ring. And we both know my mother. I think we know which one I was less likely to get killed for. And I chopped my hair off. Ugh, I say chopped. It was like right here. That's nothing compared to what other. But again, when your family is obsessed with your hair, you can only cut it so short.
You know what your mom wouldn't have known? Nipple rings. I'm just saying.
I
There's
wasn't.
things you can get away with.
I didn't know I was kinky yet, so that
There.
sounded painful to me.
Sounds painful to me too, and now, but
Also, like,
um,
how awkward would that be in dance class when you have your leotard on and no bra underneath, and you're just like bars?
I don't know. Is that awkward or just fucking hot?
I wouldn't
I
have
don't
been
know.
ready for it. I wasn't ready for the attention I got in college, so I cannot imagine the attention. I cannot imagine how less ready I would have been for the attention to my boobs.
Yeah, it's fair. I just wanted to get my hand pierced, like right through here, just a big old pole, just a rod, because I figured that would just like it won't get in the way. It won't be inconvenient in any way. But no one else has just a metal pole sticking through this part of their hand right here by the thumb. No one
I
else.
mean,
No one else has that.
Jesus does.
Fair, but that was less of a fat move.
True. High
Yeah,
five.
that was.
Oh,
Um. All right, I'll tell you what this made me nostalgic for. This made me nostalgic for college parties where someone breaks some shit.
oh
And
no.
specifically, I didn't go to a lot of wild parties, but you go to enough parties, and like people are drinking, and like, it's a college party. Like Steve's right. Who wants a beer? Like that's exactly what happens the minute the parents that you inexplicably invited to your party um, leave. Um, People get drunk, stuff gets broken. This did not seem like a wild party, but it seemed like a crowded party. And stuff happens. And you end up the next morning in a fucking pigsty that you got to clean up hungover. And it's unpleasant, but it's also like totally fine. But there was like one party that I remember specifically where something like this happened. We were at my friend Dina's house. Shouts to Dina. And her house, her apartment. This was like I remember what apartment it was, and it was after I transferred to IU, so it must have been like sophomore year. So back in Indy, going to a party at her place, and like there's there's like the people that I know and the people we know, and then there's a bunch of people that are just who knows who these folks are. And there was one guy there who was from my memory says Russia. Like he was an exchange student, like study abroad student. And I remember him having an accent, and he was a nice guy. I didn't really know him, but and he was a nice guy. But Dina had a stereo cabinet, which like everyone in the 90s had a stereo cabinet, and it has like your maybe it has a tape deck in it. Definitely has your like 15 disc CD changer or whatever. It's got an EQ system. It's got the amp that connects to your speakers. It's got the whole thing. And it's a flimsy wooden cabinet that like if you didn't put it together well, will sort of lean back and forth if you look at it funny, and has a glass door on the front that, you know, you close it and it clicks with the magnet that holds it shut. Okay, so we're in this party. It's after midnight. We've been there for a while, and this guy whose name I don't remember, a Russian guy, he opened that door a little too hard, and it exploded. Like he wasn't trying to do anything terrible. He wasn't even being like obnoxious drunk. He opened it too hard and it went boom and glass everywhere. And so I'm standing nearby when this happens, and I looked at Adam, who was there, and I was like, you get the broom, I'm getting Dina.
Oh.
And I went, because we were all a little on the whatever, and she was 100% going to kill this motherfucker. Like she would have been so pissed off that it would have been a problem.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, D, let's go sit outside. Like,
so
like we went out and we sat down, and I was like, just so you know, Olaf or whatever the fuck, he just broke this thing. I brought you out here so that it could get cleaned up without you having to deal with it.
Yeah.
And she was like, and so we just sat out there and we bullshitted for like 20 minutes. But it was the most socially aware thing I've possibly ever done.
Wow.
Like, oh, I know exactly how this is going to play out, and I need to fix it before it happens. And totally worked. Like,
what a good friend.
You know, I was like, let's go sit outside, D. And we did. And Adam was like, that was really smart. And he got it all cleaned up. And, you know, the drunk Russian guy was like really apologetic. He felt so bad. And I was just like, dude, you're going to fucking get killed. So shut up.
Yeah.
Like, if you let this sit for about a half an hour, you'll be okay. If you try to apologize right now, you might end up dead. So like, we're just gonna take a breather. So yeah, that's what I thought of the minute the punch bowl broke, was Dina's stereo cabinet door. So
wow.
Yeah, that's what this made me nostalgic for. That poor drunk Russian dude.
He's fine.
I'm sure he's fine. Well, who knows? I don't know where he's at now. Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
It's Brandon. He really upset me with the psycho comment.
Okay.
Like,
fair.
Again, I'm so worried for Brandon's character growth.
Yeah. It might be cause for concern. You know what? No. For the next 6 seasons, Brandon's not going to do anything wrong. It's going to be fine. No drama. All good decisions from here on out.
He's going to turn into Wiedershen. He's just going to be living at his parents and, dating high school girls, because I get older, they stay the same age.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. For me, I could make a real strong argument for Cindy's mom being fucking Debbie Downer of Minnesota. I could make a real strong argument for either the casting director or accent coach who didn't hire anyone who sounds like they have lived in Minnesota their entire life.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. There was no Minnesota accents in this, and it makes me sad. But the answer is Steve Sanders. because Steve has a really good relationship going here with Celeste. Like they clearly have a thing together, and he has to be forcibly reminded by Brandon and Jill to not try to fuck Jill.
Oh my god.
And if he wasn't, he would have ruined his relationship with Celeste.
Valid.
So,
Why he's the worst.
yeah, Steve is. There's a reason he's the namesake, and in an episode where not much happened, the fact that it took so much to stop him from doing something bad, that gets him. Also, he's bad house guest, Steve.
The fact that he wasn't even going to clean up right away, despicable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was going to do it eventually. It's not like the mess is going anywhere, Brandon.
I really think he and Brandon should just be together. They act like such an old married couple. I mean, and they get so in each other's face when they're all like, swag.
Yeah, I know. I do like them. I like their energy off of each other.
Yeah.
Like, even though Steve is terrible and is always doing dumb shit, and there's no reason Brandon should stay friends with him after the stuff that Steve gets Brandon involved in repeatedly, including like coming up pretty quick. Steve makes some poor choices in college. I don't know if this is a surprise to you.
No. Really?
Get ready.
And then Brandon's going to take the fall for it because Herbert skedaddled.
Oh, man. Herbert's still back in the quad. He hasn't even found out where the classes are yet. All right. So I think we did it?
I think we did.
All right. So join us here on Friday, Cheesemeisters, when I like your first suggestion because I've never seen it. So
You've
I know.
Never?
Wow. I've never seen Wet Hot American Summer, and so that's what we're gonna watch. And I'm surprised I haven't seen it because I really like so many of the people in it. And I'm assuming that I'm gonna find it hilarious because I like the folks from Stella, and I like their weird ass sense of humor, and like I think Michael Ian Black is a national treasure. So like more of that guy is always good for me. So we're gonna watch Wet Hot American Summer. I think that'll be kind of fun. Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited about that too. And then next week, join us here back on the Peach Pod for season 4, episode 2, The Girl from New York City.
Me.
But also Jill.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping, even though I know what happens in the episode, I'm hoping that it's just a treatise on bagels and lox. Like if she's just out there in these streets talking that bagel game.
Yeah,
that's what I want. That's what I want.
Fine by me.
And Celeste just like pulling her own can of mace, being like, "These bagels are good. I don't care what you think. These bagels are good, and this here's my stud muffin."
Honey, you would be eating sourdough bread. Come on.
It's probably true. But, I'm not going to say Celeste is wrong, even though she's dating Steve, and that's a bad choice. But she, love is blind, as she says. So, all right. Until then, Cheesemeisters.
Bye.
Bye.